Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Mount Vernon City Council meeting for November 10, 2021 to order. The time is now 7:11. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, item C is our roll call of council members. I'll ask our clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Beaton? Here. Councilmember Rocksmith?
Here.
Councilmember Correas?
Here.
Councilmember Hudson?
Is excused tonight?
Councilmember Holst?
Is also excused tonight?
Councilmember Molinar?
Here.
Councilmember Morales?
Here.
Great, thank you so much. Under consent agenda, we have items A, B, and C. These are regular council meeting minutes, payroll checks, wire transfers, and claims.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Melissa and a second by Gary. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Under reports tonight, we have first up is our Public Works and Library Committee report. Councilmember Gary Molinar. Gary.
Okay, we opened up the Public Works and Library Committee meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. And after the approval of the October 13 minutes, our Program Coordination Division, Blaine Chesterfield, discussed the on-call environmental services agreement with Cowling and Company LLC, which will be a 4-year agreement, not to exceed $120,000, and the Skagit Conservation District Education and Outreach Agreement to assist the city in the implementation of municipal stormwater permit, which will be a 3-year agreement not to exceed $74,370. Both agreements are on tonight's agenda. Washington Conservation Corps was in town this week, and they did lots of activity on our detention ponds. There will also be more available opportunities for them to work on the ponds later this year and into early next year. The city continues to work with Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad to complete the mainline flood crossing. Street crews placed rebar and framed the pad on November 3rd and poured the pad on November 8th. The remaining steel supports and braces and one storage container will still need to be purchased. Council received an update on the city maintained stormwater pump stations also. Next, we had project updates from Bill Bullock. Bill discussed the combined sewer outflow monitoring contract and also the Brenz Millet Road no parking ordinance that will be on tonight's agenda. Public Works will be pursuing a feasibility study within the next year with the focus on practical opportunities for removing stormwater. Hopefully they're trying to get at least 5 million gallons a day to not go through the sewer treatment plant. They will probably be focusing this study on the up by the hospital and high school. The contractor on the Freeway Drive project installed the bulk of this new stormwater piping between Cameron Way and the Riverbend Road, and we will be continuing past Blade Chevrolet and the PUD in the next coming weeks. Sidewalks, lighting, and wider lanes will be forthcoming, and we will probably be paving in the spring with that. Next, we had a library update by Isaac Huffman. Isaac discussed a few evolving areas of the Library Commons project that is included in the design refinements, review of internal presentation, sight lanes and use, and a review of lighting and other challenges that come with the designs. A briefing of the outreach updates was provided on school visits, community events, and residential area facility outreach, along with staffing updates and the continuity between building and out of building experiences. Highlights were provided on the circulation of Lego kits, the return of story time, boost kits, crafting activities, and now the starting of holiday window painting at the library. Jill then, for the under the good of the order, Jill gave us kind of an update on the calendar through January 5th, and then we were also briefed by our city attorney on a possible, what would you want to call that?
Property transaction proposal.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And we closed the meeting at 7:10.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gary. All right, our Public Safety Committee report will postpone that if the clerk could make a note until our next meeting when Councilmember Hulse can be here for that. All right, moving on to community comments is item B under our reports. First up is a review from any emails received from the public, and I'm told that we did not receive any emails from the public, so we'll skip that. Thank you, Peter. Item 2 is any public comments. Is there any public comments this evening? And seeing none, we'll go ahead and keep moving along. All right, item C is council member comments. Any council member comments this evening? Okay. All right, under D, item D is mayor's report. So I just wanted to make sure that we were acknowledging Veterans Day, which is tomorrow, November 11th. And the history of Veterans Day really started back with Armistice Day, which was signifying the end of World War I, so the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And so I'm hoping that each and every one of you could take a minute tomorrow to just think about honoring your veterans. It's not Memorial Day, it's Veterans Day. So it's a celebration of those who have served, those who continue to serve today and who have served in the past. We celebrate 20 veterans here with our city employees. And so we're just thrilled that they were willing to serve their country and now are serving their city. I couldn't let today go by. It's November 10th. It's the Marine Corps birthday today, so happy birthday to my husband, who is 246 years old and looks pretty darn good. The Marine Corps, and actually Jennifer Berner and her husband, happy Marine Corps birthday to you as well. It's a pretty proud tradition in the Marine Corps to acknowledge this day, and normally if you're active duty, there is a tradition of a cake celebration. So no matter where you're at, if you're in the middle of out in the desert somewhere, or if you're in an office space, a piece of cake is shared with the youngest Marine present and the oldest Marine present. And so that's what's happening at my house right now, and I'll get some when I get home. So thank you to our veterans. The way that the city wanted to acknowledge our Veterans Day this year took a little bit of a different look than normal. Because of COVID, of course, last year we canceled our celebration, which we normally gather somewhere. But our Parks Department had this wonderful idea that we would have an act of service to a local veteran. So thank you for Jennifer and her department for putting this together. So wanted to share a couple of pictures. So this is an event that was last Saturday, November 6th. It was Volunteer for a Veterans Day event. So it was an alternative to a traditional indoor ceremony. The city welcomed a total of 23 volunteers at the home of a local veteran. His name is Robert or Bob Kager, to assist with various outdoor yard maintenance and cleanup projects. It's my understanding that Bob served in the 50s in the military. So the city offered 2 different volunteer shifts, so 7 in the morning, folks, and 16 in the afternoon. Special shout out to Councilmember Iris Carrillas, who brought students and parent volunteers through the Migrant Family Program. So thank you so much, Iris, for that. We had Mount Vernon Rotary members, and then the Clutter Cops, which is a local junk hauling business, donated a free pickup for Bob's yard. So he was very appreciative of the help, and what was really lovely to know is that in years past, he himself had been a community volunteer in nursing facilities. So he knew how special it was for people to give their time to help him. He also said that he felt very special to know so many people would take their time to come out and help. He repeatedly stated how he could not believe what a positive difference the volunteers had made on his property, and even joked how he barely recognized it compared to what it looked like before the event. So, and I think the success of this, and from what we heard from our volunteers, is they felt so great actually doing something of action to help someone right here in our community that have served as a veteran. So our goal in the future is to think about doing this more. Perhaps we do a week-long veterans celebration and host a meet and greet to kick off that week. So we're going to really rethink how to celebrate veterans in the city of Mount Vernon. So thanks to all of those who came out to help. We really appreciate that, and for our staff for putting on a very unique event. So, all right, and just wanted to continue reminding folks of our Skagit County vaccinations. They're easy to find appointments here in our county. vaccinelocator.doh.wa.gov is where you can find not just county public health vaccinations, but sites all over the city. And you can always call the vaccination hotline, which is our local health department number, at 360-416-1500. Some reports came out today that Skagit County is lagging behind our neighboring counties, and so it'd just be really nice if we had some higher rates and lower disease rate, especially going into the holidays. So that's the mayor's report. We did want to add one action item, though, as discussed in our committee. Our upcoming regularly scheduled city council meeting is on November 24, and that's the week of Thanksgiving. And so we'd like to cancel that meeting and be able to have not only our staff but council spend time with their families. So with that, I'd ask if there would be a motion from council to cancel our regular scheduled meeting on Wednesday, November 24.
I'll make a motion to cancel our regularly scheduled council
23rd?
meeting on Wednesday, November 24th.
Oh, sorry, Wednesday,
23rd.
November 23rd. I
23rd.
apologize. That's
23rd.
okay.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, November 23rd.
Thank you, Melissa. Iris, did you second that?
Second.
I'm sorry I led you all down straight on that one. So.
And we followed.
All right. All right, so motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to E, which is committee agenda requests. Any committee agenda requests tonight? All right, thank you. Moving on, there's no unfinished business. Under new business tonight, item A is the approval of an agreement with Skagit County. And this is where Kim Kleppe, our Information Services Director, will be coming to the podium. Kim.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. I'm bringing this agreement to you for the renew agreement, asking for consideration to renew the TV10 agreement for giving us video services to the county. And we've been doing this since 2003, off and on, mostly for 18 years now. So I'm asking your consideration to renew the agreement for $10,000 a year, 133 hours of production time. And if they go over that, we charge them $75 an hour for each hour beyond the 133.
All right.
Any questions?
Any questions for Kim on this particular item?
I'd move to authorize the mayor to renew the agreement with Skagit County to provide video.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Gary and a second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, then, item B tonight is the authorization to purchase an excavator, and Kim is here for this one as well.
So I'm asking your consideration to purchase an excavator, compact excavator. What the purpose of this thing does, right now we can do 90 to 95% of the installs in-house. One thing we're missing in here is able to do underground install to the last mile, usually the connection to the business or possibly the house. What this allows us to do is dig a hole or dig it all the way to the house, or dig a hole to put a piercer in there. What a piercing tool does, it can bore under up to 100 feet to a location, so we don't have to disturb the land. To do that, it takes quite a good sized hole. This mini excavator will help do that and save a lot of cost to the city, because a lot of it is a deterrent to do a connection, because it might cost $6,000 just to go 100 feet. With this tool, we can do that without that cost. We will do it ourselves. So with that, Gary went out and found a few sites on there, and we looked at Case, we looked at Cat, and we looked at John Deere. Our guys went and looked at the equipment, tested it out, and chose the John Deere is the most one that they both felt comfortable using to do that. And so one thing about that, we were able to get this on the Sourcewell contract, which is a state purchasing contract, so we can buy it off the state contract, so we don't have to go out to bid. So I'm asking for your, and the other thing important to know is we're able to buy this on ARPA funds, because it's for fiber broadband, and ARPA is really big on paying for broadband with fiber. So lastly, I'm asking for the council to authorize the purchase of the compact excavator for an amount of $34,380.43. Any questions?
Questions for Kim?
I have one question.
Okay.
Thank you. So with the 17G excavator, that's entirely new, right?
Brand new, 2021.
Nice. And then from the other city departments, there's no other excavator about with the same
That's a good
bells and
question.
whistles?
What it is the mini excavator has a smaller bucket size. We have ones with really large bucket size. When you use a really large bucket, it tears up a whole big area to dig, and it takes a lot more fill to fill it in. A lot more expense that we're to backfill that in with the proper materials. But this one's a smaller trenching, and we can do about a 10-inch, and we can do a nice, easy line with that. So that's why it's more of a mini excavator, the smallest one they make that's usable. So that's a big deal.
Thank you. I understand now. I saw pictures of the 17G excavator and it looked pretty small compared to the other ones. So I was like,
Yeah.
ah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't have any questions on my end anymore.
Is this item budgeted in the ARPA spending plan that was all part of the discussion we had earlier?
Yes.
So that's great, and I know we certainly have had some discussions about continuing to expand the fiber program and access. So this makes sense, seems like a good value for the city. So with that, make a motion to authorize I'm not looking at my agenda, authorize the mayor to make the purchase for the mini excavator.
All right.
Second.
All right, motion by Richard and a second by Iris. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Kim. That equipment will really, it's gonna help our fiber techs a lot. It's one thing they asked for specifically. All right. Item C tonight is an approval of an agreement with Skagit County. Isaac Huffman, our library director, is here. Isaac.
Every year, Skagit County helps reimburse for out-of-district library cards by providing funds from the county's operating budget. This year, they asked to enter an agreement for this year and next year in the amount of $13,470, which
30.
what I can't quite remember, but it's right around what we budgeted for last year in the budget, and it makes sense for us. And I would ask that you make a motion to approve this agreement with Skagit County.
All right. Questions for Isaac? All right.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Melissa and a second by Gary. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Isaac. Item D is the approval of a street closure, and this is our Jennifer Berner, our Parks and Enrichment Services Director, is here for this. Jennifer.
So this is pretty exciting. We get to host an event. So what we're here to do is ask you to approve a street closure for the upcoming holiday parade. The Downtown Association is looking to hold this event this year, and it's the event is going to be on December 5th. It will run along Cleveland as it has in the past, same route, same structure as it's been in the past. And so just looking for, they'll start the closure Sunday, December 5th at 3:30. And the parking along the street will close at 1:30. So that way people can have time to exit before they close the road at 3:30, and reopening after the parade. So just looking for some support from council for this event.
Great. Any questions for Jennifer about the street closure?
I'll make a motion, council approve the street closure request.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion by Melissa and a second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item E tonight is a approval of an agreement with Skagit County, and this is Police Chief Chris Kamick will present this item. Chris.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Good evening, council. I'm here to request that council authorize the mayor to enter into agreement with Skagit County for the financial support that provides our law enforcement embedded social worker to be operational. This position agreement's been in place since 2016, and it provides police department ability to offer specialized services or skills and knowledge towards those who are influenced, in the unhoused community. The agreement before you is a renewal of terms we've been working under currently. It's to reimburse expenses not to exceed 2/3 of the total cost, or $60,000, It also provides $12,000 in flex funds for programming, technical support where needed. In exchange, the city funds the additional 1/3 employs the individual that's preferably a master's in social work, which we have currently. We provide the relevant job duties, training, workspace tools, etc. So again, just recommending approval to renew the interlocal agreement for 2022.
All right, questions for Chris on this item?
Is
All right,
this
go ahead.
going to be for Aaron?
Yes.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. If there is no any question, then I would like to make the motion to approve as per the approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Iris and a second by Melissa. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Item F tonight is the approval of an agreement with ADS Environmental Services. This is Bill Bullock, our city engineer, is up for this particular item. Bill?
Good evening. Good evening, council. What I just handed you was on page 2 and page 4. The company providing the professional services that is up to this had some changes they sent us on Monday to the contract. They wanted to do some modifications to the contract language. Kevin is, our city attorney, has already checked this and is in agreement with them and is acceptable to us, but after the council packets were due, they asked for these changes, and we decided to move forward with them. So I'm providing them to you now. So this is the contract to do combined CSO, combined sewer overflow sewer monitoring. So this is where they will be placing equipment in 10 different manholes within the mainly the area west of the hospital and west of the high school, that neighborhood we talked about during the Public Works Committee meeting. And this is a necessary first step phase to doing the feasibility study we want to do. They'll be gathering this data. We're doing it now because we want to capture that winter season high flow rate in our sewer system. And then this will be about a 7-month monitoring project because it'll also go into the dry season so we can compare wet season to dry season in these specific areas. And this is a company specifically recommended by HDR. We selected them from the professional services roster on MSRC. So this 7-month study, basically, and they'll have a technical report after it that will go into a RFP when we go to select a set of consultants to do the actual feasibility work next year sometime, is $113,000. And so I'll
So we'll
open it
just,
to any questions council may have, but we would ask that council allow them to give permission to the mayor to execute a contract with ADS Environmental.
so I just want to point out the very pretty slight changes on page 2. It's literally just pointing out a net 30 days of city's receipt of consultant invoice, which was actually stated in the sentence before, but that's okay if they wanted to be more specific. Seems like pretty minor. And then on page 4, it really just seems like to add a couple of words. It's not that there's any significant changes to the contract presented in council packet.
It's mostly kind of their flavor of clarification of what we already do with our contracts, and rather than negotiate with them over 2 days, we just looked at it and found it acceptable.
Okay. So questions for Bill on this before?
No questions on my end, but since we're looking at the changes to the contract, I think there might have been perhaps a change under findings and conclusion on the second line. I think there might have been an extra word of 2, relatively minor compared to the contract. But I mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, I'd make the motion for, let me see, motion to approve the authorization for the mayor to execute a contract with ADS Environmental Services to provide installation, data collection, and analysis of flow monitoring equipment in the combined sewer system at 10 locations in the amount of $113,387.27.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Juan and a second by Melissa. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, item G is an approval of an ordinance. This is to establish a no parking and no tow zone. And this is Bill Bullock as well. Hi, Bill.
Thank you. So we were, the Traffic Safety Committee was approached by the PERT team, wait a minute, sorry here, Problem Elimination and Reduction Team, which is, advises, I think, the police department as well as the city on different issues we have in the city and how to fix them. So this is one that they approached the Traffic Safety Committee with that involves how do you say that road name? I'm sorry.
Barron's Millet.
Barron's, thank you. Oh, man. So, Barron's Millet Road, at the end of Barron's Millet Road, approaches the edge of Edgewater, that portion of Edgewater Park, and ends in two gates. The gate at the end for Edgewater Park and the gate that continues on the road and accesses the dike. These gates are open for special events and that type of a thing, but in the meantime, they are typically closed, and they have problems with people parking there. Some of them are homeless, some of them aren't. I don't really kind of know what the whole width and breadth of that is, but they are impediment to emergency services, for instance, and some other pieces there. And so the PERT team asked the Traffic Safety Committee to consider a no parking zone in this area and for a length along the road as well, because the road is also very narrow, and if people start parking along the side of the road, that will also create an obstruction. So what this is asking for is and they also want a tow-away section of that parking so they can actually enforce it and enforce it in a meaningful manner. And so that's what the request is for right now, is to pass an ordinance establishing that no parking zone. Kevin has also told me there's some language that needs to be changed so that this is in addition to the no parking zone ordinance, as opposed, I don't know.
Somebody put it out amend the actual ordinance where it fills in all the no parking zones. And then this would be an addition. So we're not inadvertently repealing the other no parking zones that exist in the city.
So if we can include in a motion for Kevin to make some modifications as that are needed to make this an additive ordinance which adds an additional no parking zone to the city, that would be great. But that's basically what we're asking for, is to establish this section as a first step to see if we can resolve this issue that the enforcement folks have been continually having.
Okay. Any questions for Bill on this particular item?
I have a basic question, and just to verify that there's parking for the general public immediately to the northeast, right?
That is correct.
Around the ball fields.
That's correct.
So
Yes, sir.
this is just encouraging people not to park on the road itself because it impacts ingress and such, so. Yeah, I have no other questions after that.
Okay. Any other questions on this? This is an ordinance, so the ordinance number would be 3840.
I'd move to approve ordinance, you said 3840?
3840, yes.
3840 with additions from, or subtractions from Kevin.
All right, thanks.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion by Gary and a second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Council.
item H tonight is the approval of an agreement with Cowling and Company LLC. Blaine Chesterfield, our engineering manager, is here for this particular item.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Yes, the staff requests that the City Council authorize the mayor to approve the professional service agreement with Cowling and Company LLC, also doing business as Widener and Associates for environmental consulting services. The agreement is for 4 years with a total cost of up to $30,000 per year, or a total potential cost of $120,000. In the past, we have had Cowling and Company work for us on many projects, and the work performed under this contract will generally be funded by the stormwater utility I couldn't rule out that if we needed this company on an emergency basis for some other transportation, that we could use the on-call for that as well. But generally, it would be a surface water utility on-call. And the work will be performed on a time and materials basis. Cowling and Company has an exceptional success rate at obtaining permits, and we have found that true for us over the years. Also, they seem to be able to get permits at a much more reasonable price than what I've experienced with other contractors. So the approval of the recommended professional services agreement will allow the city to complete projects that are near critical environmentally sensitive areas in a timely and responsible manner.
All right, questions for Blaine on this item? Been very well served by Widener and Associates in the past, so.
I'll make a motion that council authorize the mayor to approve professional services agreement with Cowling and Company, otherwise known as Widener and Associates, or, excuse me, doing business as.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Iris. Motion by Melissa, second by Iris. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Item I tonight is the approval of an agreement with Skagit Conservation District. Blaine's here for that. Go ahead, Blaine.
Thank you. Staff recommends council authorize the mayor to sign the interlocal cooperative agreement with the Skagit Conservation District for continuing assistance in carrying out the public education outreach, participation, and involvement requirements of the city's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, Phase 2 Municipal Stormwater Permit. Boy, that was a mouthful. The annual cost to the city for the Skagit Conservation District's assistance on the public education outreach program is $24,790. The total cost over the 3 years of this agreement will be $74,370. This agreement is approved in the funding year 2022 budget. And Public Works staff has reviewed the agreement. It continues to provide great programs for citizens, education, outreach, participation, a variety of stormwater venues. And many of the other cities within the county participate in the same program, so we cost share, so it gives us great bang for the buck on this requirement that ecology has placed upon us. And this agreement will keep the city in compliance with our MPDS permit through December 2024, at which time we will have a new MPDS permit. We'll probably have some change in some of our requirements, so we'll have to see what those are, but we will adapt as always. So, and staff recommends that the council authorize the mayor to enter into the interlocal cooperative agreement.
All right, thank you, Blaine. Any questions for Blaine?
No, they've done a lot of great work for us in the past, so thanks for continuing that partnership with the Conservation District. And not seeing any other questions, I'd be happy to make a motion for the mayor to sign an agreement with the Conservation District to continue the education and outreach program with the Skagit Conservation District.
I'll second the motion.
All right, thank you. Motion by Richard and a second by Juan. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Blaine.
Thank
That
you.
concludes our regularly scheduled agenda items. I'll ask our city attorney if there's a need for an executive session this evening.
Yes, on behalf of the mayor and members of the city council, to enter into an executive session to discuss the legal counsel matters relating to enforcement action, litigation, or potential litigation to which the city, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding such discussion is likely to result in either adverse legal or adverse financial consequences to the city. Moreover, to discuss issues related to collective bargaining sessions and planning or adopting strategy or positions related to such collective bargaining, which is exempt from the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to RCW 4230-140 subsection 4. Will be in executive session for 20 minutes, reconvening for potential final action after.
All right, thank you. Well, that will be adjourned into executive session at 7:45.
I was translating English to.
I don't know, listen. All right, I'd like to call the city council meeting back into session. The time is now 8:06, and our city attorney has an item to present to us. Go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. Before you is a settlement agreement with an insurance company, actually two. It's called Ohio Security and Ohio Casualty. The city is involved in litigation with this insurance company over the legal costs that the city has incurred in defending a lawsuit against the city regarding the downtown flood protection project. We've reached a settlement agreement regarding the legal costs, and the insurance company has agreed to reimburse us for the amount set forth in the agreement. This will not extinguish any other claims which we have against promises to indemnify us from other parties, including the engineers in which the design, which was the underlying cause of action in the case we had to defend ourselves. It's recommended by your attorneys to approve this settlement agreement with the insurance company. We believe it's reasonable, and it would extinguish the cost to litigate this further, which can be quite expensive if this were to begin in earnest.
All right, any questions for Kevin on this item? All right, with that, we'd be looking for a motion to accept the settlement agreement as presented by our city attorney.
I'll make a motion to approve the settlement agreement as accepted by the city.
Okay.
As presented?
Presented.
As presented by our city attorney.
Second.
All right, motion by Melissa and a second by Gary. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. With that, we've concluded our action items tonight, and we'll be adjourned at 8:08.
All right, thanks for having my back there.